Hello there and welcome to NCBA Money Mastery Series Season 4, where we teach you how to make your money work for you. My name is Evelyn Musioka, and on this show we are excited about numbers because at NCBA, the numbers that matter to you matter to us. Here's some numbers that matter regarding women and money. Women on average earn 32% less than men in Kenya. Women are most likely to take at least 2.5 times more unpaid jobs than men, and the gender pay parity may not be achieved by the year 2069. Now, women's approach to money has often been marred by lack of full financial inclusivity, especially on matters relating to creation of wealth. Despite the strides that have been made, we still have situations where women are paid much less than their male colleagues in the corporate space. So how does a woman handle the financial world that is already skewed against her? On today's show, we'll be talking to Waceke Nduati, the author of the book Making Sense and the founder of Centonomy Limited. She'll be giving us her insights on how women can be more involved in the financial space. Waceke, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. Evelyn, I'm so glad to be here, especially for this conversation.
Thank you indeed. Yeah. You have a book, you've written a book, you've been in the financial space for more than 10 years.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The first thing I'd like to tell women is that we always think it's about waiting for the big things. And when I talk to women, they're always like, I'm waiting for 1 million shillings to show up in my bank account. I'm waiting for the biggest job title. Then Waceke, I can really go out there and create wealth. Well, my journey, Evelyn, started with 300 bob. I realized 300 bob, I was eating lunch every day. 300, and the day I didn't have money, I did the calculations. You know how when you don't have money, that's when you go back and say, what did I do with that 300 bob? 300 times 30, 9,000 shillings. Now 9,000 times 12. And I've written about this in my book, 108,000 shillings. December 31st, you're given 108,000 shillings. Evelyn, we're just talking about how in January people forget they have kids. Yeah? School fees, a plot of land, paying of debt. And for me, and I want to tell women this, it was also a holiday. So sometimes what will push us forward is those secret things we want. But we're like, no, I shouldn't go on a holiday. Ladies, it's in your lunch money. So 300 bob started my journey. I then started talking to people. I came from an investment background, but I started going beneath the surface. It's not just about knowing shares, property, saving, budgeting. What is actually stopping you from investing? And for me, all that time I was working in the financial industry, but I didn't have investments. Why? Because I was comfortable. I was getting that salary on the 24th or the 25th of every month. So when I started talking to people about that, Evelyn, I just realized this is my life's work, to have conversations about money. And now to have, especially what I've been doing this year, women. What's that unique relationship that women have with money? That's how I got started. Then the stories became a book. The first book, and there'll be many more coming.
Wow, impressive. I think you've touched on how it's the small things that that matter.
Yes.
Yeah. So we pick it up in the African context.
Yeah.
When we think of bills, say there's no power, we say, go and ask the day for tokens. But right now, in the present time, why is it important to have the conversation on women and money?
Because women at some point in their lives have been undermined with money. And because they've been undermined, it has created a belief system of making them feel it shouldn't be me, I'm not good enough. And sometimes I talk to even women who are high career, they're the breadwinners, they still want to, they almost feel guilty about having money. So when I started my business, Evelyn, I went to a bank, I opened a bank account. Of course, I'm the one running around running Centonomy, but I had a male business partner. And who would the bank call when it's time for transfers? Him. Despite even in that same bank, it's not NCBA by the way, despite that even in that same bank, I went and trained them on personal finance, me, Waceke. But who would they call when it's about confirming transfers or dealing with money? So society has also believed that when it comes to money, that's not the women's place. And even women have believed that. So for a long time, I was wondering, why is it disturbing me so much? But I was undermined. And so many women in various ways have been undermined. Sometimes in relationships, sometimes with a family. When it's time to give out legacy, wills and trusts are written. Is the woman there? Should the woman inherit property? As much as it's in the law, a lot of families will still make the decision that the smaller piece of land will be given to the woman. So we've grown up with systems and societies that have told us in subtle ways that no, not for you. Yeah, and that's why you mentioned about women earn less. Sometimes we don't negotiate based on what we can do because we somehow believe we should be less, and that's wrong.
Yeah, that's indeed wrong. Now, from a society perspective, we move on to the individual perspective. As women, individually, what is holding us back from being more involved in the money space?
I want women to do this. Just look at your experiences with money. I went back in the book and I said, when I was 10 years old, there was some money I got in a birthday party. Then it was not put in the savings account that I thought it would be. I asked for it when I was 18 years old. And because of that experience, my savings, I didn't have a savings culture for a very, very long time. So go back to the experience you had. And when I talk to women, it's when they tried to voice their opinion, they weren't allowed to. Maybe when money was being discussed, as you brought about, they were told, okay, go away. Boys stay in the room, women go away. Maybe when they tried to ask for a promotion or a salary increase, they were shut down. I remember when I started working, I was working as a research assistant, and the rest were male. I would be the only assistant made to photocopy for the boss his papers. The rest were doing, research. Well, me, I had to do research and photocopying. Did I ever ask for extra money because I was also doing photocopying? No, I just took it. And women, there are things we have just taken over time. But we must also all understand the experiences we went through are not the truth. They are not fact. They have made us think and believe in a certain way, but we must go and challenge what are those beliefs that you're sitting with that are coming full circle to tell you you are not good enough. And then those things are showing up in your patterns. And no matter how much money you earn and you feel you are not good enough, you're just not going to go for this property investment seminar because you somehow believe not for me. So let us face those experiences and feel what we need to feel, and then look at those experiences and say, not the truth of who I am, and then start looking at who am I? What can I actually do? What skills and gifts do I possess? Go back to all the positive things you have done, even with money that you have underestimated, and say, actually, I can make this bigger.
Oh, great. So there's the power of no and unlearning things that we have grown up with.
Of course. And I like the way you've used the power of no. We are so scared to tell people no. Do you know black tax affects women more than anybody else? We are so scared to tell people no because relatives know, let me ask her. She will feel obligated to help me because what have we been told as women? Make everybody else happy. Yeah. When we were small girls, when the guests came, your brothers went running around to play. What were you told? No. Before you have fun, make everybody else happy. So relatives come knocking at the door and they make demands of us, and we feel guilty if we don't say yes. So we have to learn the power of saying no, the power of knowing our value when you're sitting in front of that negotiation for a salary and saying, actually, that's not my value. Even if you can't afford to pay me now, let's work on a plan to get to us where I'm going, but that is not my value. So we have to run away from this. And if to create wealth, to be quite honest, and to be successful, you have to accept that you will annoy some people.
You've mentioned the idea of making everybody happy.
Yeah.
And I'll pick it up from there. Women juggle a lot.
Yes.
We are mothers, we are sisters, we are wives.
Yeah.
And now there's the element of money.
Yeah.
So how do we juggle these relationships and the relationship we have with money?
First, I'll go back to understand the value of what you are juggling. The UN did a study and they estimated the unpaid domestic work that women do can contribute anywhere between 10 to 39% of the GDP. Imagine. Because women have a job, they're running a business, but every day they're going to go and do at least 2 hours of unpaid work. Some studies equate this to 3 months of full-time labor that you're doing extra. So we juggle a lot. Yes, we juggle a lot. So look at what you are juggling and don't be superwoman. And ask yourself, do I have to do everything? Or is it time for other people around me to also step up? And a simple example that a lot in class, in Centonomy classes, we talk about it, even going to the shops, to buy food, etc. Because that is the assumed role most women are going to do. Just ask yourself, does it have to be you who goes to the shops? Sometimes you have help at home, but you just never tell the help. By the way, part of your responsibilities will be every week you are the one going to the supermarket for me. So just be fair on yourself. And then yes, you do juggle a lot, but what's in it for you? When is your downtime? Years ago, I realized because of all this juggling plus running a business plus being a mom, I needed to go spend a week by myself by the beach. So I'm also telling women, I think it's time to arise and ask yourself, give yourself permission. Because I face burnt out women who are working for their families, working for their careers, working for their businesses, working for their jobs, working for their employees. But then I ask, what are you doing for you? So please go and figure out, because of what you want, what are you going to do for you? So it could be that, or there could be a course you want to take. There could be an initiative you want to be part of. Give yourself permission. And when you give yourself permission to do the things that are important to you, suddenly you now start telling people, okay, because I am doing this, it means this has to be reorganized. But don't be afraid to tell people around you, hey, here, you are the one going to step up because it's too much for me. I'm not superwoman.
Great. So self-care as it relates to money touches on very many other things. Yes. So we've looked at the juggling of many things and then the more negative side of it. But on the flip side, how does it work well for us in terms of money? Because of how we juggle many things, how has it made us better at handling money, and how can we even get better?
Not just money. I think even in the workplace, this is being realized. Organizations that have more women in leadership simply have stronger cultures. Now, women it has been nurtured from when you were so small. Remember I was telling you, guests come to the house. You're there as a 12-year-old girl. Bang, 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 bang. You know, the lights are going on in your head. Bread, milk, what? How does those lights relate to money? Women are excellent planners. They can see miles ahead. Women are able to see in 5 years this child is going to college. Because this child is going to college, we need to start doing certain things today. And they start aligning. When they've given themselves permission and gotten over that lie that is telling them you're not good enough to handle this, they are able to align. What are women also able to do? Think of how we operate. When you have a problem, Evelyn, who do you call?
My mother.
Yes, because women have a basket of support. So I'm going to tell you, women, that support system you are able to build because you're having problems in a relationship, you're having problems with your family, you're having problems with your kid, you're in a chama, that support system, that skill is actually called resource management in the business world. You are able to pull together resources. So even with money, just ask yourself, who's going to be my basket of support? Is it financial institutions? Is it advisors? Is it mentors of other women who are on this journey and have gone there? And because just because you are a woman, you can do it in your sleep. So women are also able to do that. I've also seen women are able to adapt extremely easily. In COVID-19, out of all the jobs that were lost in Kenya, 62% of them belonged to women. So women, but what I've seen when people come to class, they're able to switch so easily. When a woman was living in a certain neighborhood and you tell her to get to where you want, for a short time in your life, you need to cut down. Women suffer less from that need to show others the social status than men do. So it's easy for them to make the switch. Well, we met a lot of men who are still pretending to have a job even when they don't have a job. So women must say, oh, okay, I was buying this brand and I have to buy this brand. I have to live here. I was in an employment in the corporate world with a big title, now I have to start a small business. So women are very adaptable, because think about how much adaptability we do when we're running a household. So much adaptability, and women are able to just piece things together. I call it the skill of alignment. They're just able, and sometimes you don't know why you can do it, why someone is saying that. Logically, it makes sense, but you can just tell it's not quite going to get to where you want to go. And so many times what has happened with women, we suppress that instinctive, intelligent voice that we naturally carry. So I'm not saying men don't also have it, but it's just that women have been taught to suppress it more. So that voice that is telling you, this advisor is talking like this, but there's something, because women are we are very intuitive in nature. There's something not quite right. Listen to it, and what I've seen that instinct guide women is to a journey of purpose, where they're saying, I may have lost this, but now that I'm very clear what I want, what my purpose is, and why I actually want to create wealth, it lights a fire, and they're able to move faster, they're able to move swiftly.
Yeah, thank you. So when we talk about money, we definitely have to talk about financial independence.
Absolutely.
I'll pick up from one of the talks you had about how savings can only serve you in the short term, and how long term you have to think about wealth creation.
Yes.
You mention it in your book, Making Sense,
yes,
through the story of faith.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how a woman can build herself from a saver to a wealth creator.
Okay. So what is wealth? I'll start with what is my definition of wealth. Knowing what you want, and again, which aligns to your values and your purpose. The confidence to make money a tool for that life. So even the book I write, money is not the life, it is a tool for that life. And the freedom. Financial freedom is the ability to go through the ups and downs and make the choices in line with that. So for wealth, saving is the discipline of putting money aside, and it is important. You cannot create wealth without that discipline. So I earn 50,000 shillings, and every month I put 10,000 shillings aside. By the end of the year, I have saved 120,000 shillings. Well done. The saving is good for short-term needs. So I may have school fees, I may have a holiday. Like the lunch I was giving you example, that saving was used for holiday. Now wealth is the exciting stuff. Think about this. In the book I write about a guy called Douglas, and it is saying, the day I don't have this job, the day I don't have this business, what will sustain my lifestyle? It is not your savings, it is wealth. So wealth is the money that comes in when you're brushing your teeth. So even though I'm not working and my lifestyle is 50,000 shillings a month, and this is for everybody, men and women, what will bring that 50,000 shillings to me? And that is what gives us that level of financial security. So in wealth, your mindset changes. So what sometimes women don't do so well, we are good savers. But when it comes to wealth, because of that whole experience, I shouldn't make mistakes, I'll fail, I'm scared, we don't want to take the risks associated with wealth. Because when you move from saving, you're now starting to look at other investments that could work, could fail, that actually do create wealth.
So we think passive income.
We think passive income, we think savings account, we think treasury bills, we think treasury bonds, we think things that are safe. And why are they also safe? Because they are easy to understand. It's easy to understand a savings account. Now, where do we have to do, that's why I talked about the confidence to make money a tool. Where do we have to do a bit more work? How do shares work? How do bonds work? How do unit trusts work? How does my pension actually work? How does property work? This business can create wealth. How does this business work? I can write a book. How do I actually make a book a viable business? That is where the work is. Wealth is sometimes, let me go to relationships because it affects money a lot. When you become a wealth creator, you now question in your house, how is money actually being managed? Wealth makes you look like, why am I buying this cup for 100 bob and I can buy it for 20 bob? Is that cup so valuable that I want to pay excess for it? Wealth makes you question when you've been told, don't worry, I've got it under control. As a wealth creator, you're like, what does under control mean? It makes you to start questioning because you're like, I really want that maths to work for me, because if it doesn't work for me, then I know I have to be the one to have it under control. Wealth also makes you say, if I'm earning 100,000 shillings today, in 2 years I want to earn 300,000 shillings. What exactly am I going to do about it? So you start taking responsibility. And the mistake sometimes women have made is we don't take responsibility. Yes, we have all that going on, but nobody is going to come and use your voice for you. So you have to take responsibility and say, if I want to achieve that, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to confront about myself? What am I going to confront about my situation? And what changes am I going to make? Sometimes we don't want to look at the little things, even how you're spending the 300 bob every day. So that's what wealth. And it's great to think at some point somebody will come and put 10 million shillings in your bank account, but that's not reality.
Yeah. And Waceke, on that note of the
Yeah.
thought-provoking questions, we'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be looking at debt and how you as a woman can use it as leverage to get yourself in a better financial situation. But before we come back, feel free to share your questions and comments. Waceke and I will be looking at them when we come back. Don't go too far.
Candace, what's that?
I brought you a small bonus.
Bonus for what?
Daddy said you helped us get a house, a car, and mommy's business.
But I only helped them get the loans.
You did more than that. You got us 299 family dinners, 64 kisses on the cheek, 12 road trips to see grandma, 42 jokes from daddy, 49 laughs from mommy.
In over 60 years of dealing with numbers, we've learned that the numbers that matter the most to you are the ones that matter the most to us. NCBA Bank. Go for it.
Welcome back to NCBA Money Mastery, conversations from the bank that says go for it. We've been speaking to Waceke Nduati, the author of the book Making Sense and the founder of Centonomy Limited. On this second part of the show, Waceke, we will look at debt. And I'd like to pick it up from the story of Douglas in your book. Douglas had an extravagant lifestyle, which in most cases leads to debt.
Yeah.
So as women, how do we juggle debt? How does it affect us and how can we avoid it?
Okay. This is why I say money is a relationship. It's just not an item, it's actually a relationship. So it first starts because, Douglas, it's his relationship with lifestyle. And Douglas was always about pleasing other people. And this relates to women because women, in our efforts, we may please people in different ways, but in our efforts to please other people, we may take on debt. So lifestyle is you want to have a certain home, not because you really want it, because of what other people think. You want your kids to go to a certain school. Not that it's specifically bad for good or bad, but I want to be able to say my child goes to that school. You want to buy a piece of furniture because of what other people think. You want a bigger car because that's what other people think. Now the trap of a lifestyle is this. Let's use a car as an example. When you buy that car, people will give you the attention in the short term. Then one day the attention will run out, even if it's a phone.
Yeah.
What happens when the attention runs out? What have you been left with? Like a drug addict. You want to keep feeding the attention. So you keep doing more and more and more. And for women, it could be that relative you gave money. It could be something your family decided that you are the one going to spend money on, but you want to keep pleasing them, but pleasing is such a short term. So what do? Sometimes your paycheck runs out. So you dip into debt, and that's lifestyle debt. And you think you're only going to do it once, but because lifestyle is this animal that you can never get out of, you do it again and again and again. That is what is called the rat race. You're working so hard, but at the end of the day, there's actually nothing that you're showing for it. So women need to understand good debt and bad debt. That is bad debt because it does not lead to wealth creation at all. Yeah, it gets you further, deeper and deeper and deeper. And we're living in times where debt is so accessible. Even now, all I have to do is dial star dash 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 on my phone, and I have a loan immediately. Yeah. So, what is good debt? Good debt is the debt that is there acquiring the things that make you wealthy. What are those things that make you wealthy? Assets. Yeah. If I buy a property today and then I sell it 3 years later for a profit, that is an asset. So if I take debt on that, it can be a very calculated way. I think my profit will be more than the interest that I am paying on the loan. So what keeps people, like Douglas said, in that debt is the focus on lifestyle. So back to what I was telling women before, just really start to understand what is important to you. What is truly, truly, truly important to you? Do that life and then make money at all. Then you will get debt into perspective. What has also held women back? Fear of debt. We then have, when we do need to use other people's money, whether it comes in the form of debt, for business women it can come in the form of investors. When we do need to, or bank credit, to use debt to accelerate us, we are also very, very scared. So we shouldn't be so scared of debt that even when it makes sense, even when it's a calculated risk, we shy away from taking debt. What is a no-no, in my opinion, and I'm using these statistics simply from the women we've worked with in Centonomy, like 30% of the debt that is strangling women is because they have taken debt on behalf of other people. It's not even their loan. Yeah, somebody has put pressure on them in their life to say, take a debt. Me, I'm starting a business. You are not the one starting a business, but somebody else is starting a business. You don't understand that business, but you have felt obliged to take debt on their behalf. It could be a sister, it could be a mother, it could be a father, it could be a brother, it could be a husband. So many people. There are people who have told me even they've taken debt on behalf of their church. Yeah. So taking debt for other people is a very, very risky move, because I think you should only take debt when it is something you understand and something you are willing to take complete responsibility for. So a lot of women today are paying loans that have nothing to do with them. They are not advancing them in any way. And some go into that cycle of, it's my business, fund it. Then the business goes down, it's another business, fund it. But women are being strangled by debt on behalf of other people, even the lifestyle, to support lifestyles of other people. Please do not take debt you cannot afford. Just do the maths. What is my income? What are my expenses, for survival, rent, food, school fees, etc. Beyond that, if any payment is going to come in the way of that, and even your savings goals, if you are planning to save 20,000 shillings a month, it shouldn't be compromised because of debt. Then you can see how much debt I can actually afford. But we've got to leave this thinking that I'll just take the debt and somehow, in a way that I don't understand, things will work out.
All right, Waceke. I think on that note, I'd mention that it's important to seek correct financial advice to see how the debt can work for you. And at NCBA, we're ready to offer you that expert financial advice. So you can reach out to us on our numbers or visit any of our branches. Now, Waceke, as we get to the end of this show, I'd like to touch on the running theme for the season. It's been savings and investment. Okay. And from one of your previous talks, you mentioned that for you to save correctly, you need to give your money a JD.
Yeah.
Please tell us more about that.
Imagine just money is an employee in your life. Yeah. And that employee has turned up for work. What is the job of that money? And it's amazing in our classes when we ask people this and they're like, actually, I've never thought of giving the job the money. The money is coming in, the money is going out, but with no job description. So the first thing you'd ask an employee, what is this job supposed to achieve? So define properly, what is this job supposed to achieve? Is it supposed to achieve a certain income level for you? Is it supposed to achieve a certain lifestyle for you? Are your kids supposed to be able to go to university and ongoing? Are you supposed to buy this kind of investments? What is this, even for the next year, it's great we're coming into a new year soon. What is this money supposed to achieve for you? Once you have done that, look at your current habits today. Look at your patterns today. We cannot run away from the responsibility of what we're doing. Your patterns around your spending, your patterns around just giving money wherever money should be given, your patterns around avoidance, running away from looking at the financial realities of your life. I used to run away at some point in my life from even looking at my ATM balance, because I was like, I just didn't want to face what that balance is telling me. Yeah. So really understand the financial realities of your life. Yeah. Then start to say, okay, if this is where I am, this is where I want to go, what am I telling money to do? And then give money that job description. That means because you have told that's a job description of money, set boundaries around it. If you're going to save a certain amount of money, that means when money comes into your current account, you know that instantly a portion of it goes away. It means that you have decided I can only give 5,000 shillings a month. That means if somebody else comes later on and says, oh, crisis, unless it is so important and it's somebody so close to you, like your parents, for example, you are actually going to learn to use the word, no, I don't have any money. They don't need to understand why I'm saying I don't have money. So give money that job description, because that is when money truly should become a tool for what you want. Then your work is to go ahead and say, money, I've given you this job, but I'm going to expand your responsibilities by earning more money. Every woman must work towards having income, two sources of income. Maybe you have a job, I'm going to challenge you. What are your other sources of income? You cannot just survive on one source of income. Maybe you're running a business, great, but I'm going to say, what else can you do with the skill that you have that can give you another source of income? So if you say and set a goal and say, next year I must act, even if it's 3,000 shillings a month, it's a starting point. I am going to make sure I have a second source of income.
All right. So
Yeah.
Waceke, a self-audit
Yeah.
and discipline.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
well
In fact,
said.
I like calling it a lifestyle audit.
Great.
Or audit your lifestyle and see what fits, what doesn't fit. Yes.
Yeah, great. So I'd like to loop in our viewers at this point and look at the questions and the comments that are coming in. We have a question that touches on chamas. A lot of women are in chamas. One of our viewers would like to know how chamas can be used as avenues for wealth creation.
They are fantastic avenues for wealth creation, but chamas again have to go from we are meeting to put money together to we are meeting to achieve certain goals. So what chamas can do is get very, very clear about defining that goal. I have now worked with chamas who have said that we are a retirement, and now because I've been doing this for 14 years, I can actually say they're chamas who have come and said through that we have built our retirement plans. So just give your chama a goal so that it's not just about meeting and having fun or talking about social stuff. It's what are we actually doing. You have to decide what is going to be the primary objective of your chama. Is it business or is it social? If it's a social, let's meet and do social things, keep it social, yeah? But if you're going to decide the primary reason we're here is business, you are going to treat it as a business. For example, you're going to deal with if people don't contribute on time, is there a penalty? You're going to now insert those things into your chama. Yeah, so give it a go. Give your chama a goal. A big goal that scares you and moves you from your current contribution, and every year you're increasing your contributions. Yeah.
All right, well put. We have Caroline with a question. Thank you, Caroline, for joining us. She's asking, what are some of the hurdles that hold women back from investing?
Not being willing to take the risk. Yeah, as I said, we say very well, but we're very shy when we are told something may come with a risk, and then the confidence to not understand the risk. And I want to tell women, money is not something we were taught. It's not something that came automatically. So it's okay if you need to go and learn about money. So what holds women back is they're not doing the conversations or the learning, or they're not putting themselves in the kind of circles where they learn. In Centonomy, we like saying you have to ditch the poverty support group to create wealth. So this support group of let's just complain, the economy, the government, not gonna help in your wealth creation journey. You need to be in the group that talk about this is what's happening, this is how we can plug into opportunities and that. So I want women to form those circles. Women, we have networks, but when we meet in our networks, we tend to keep our conversations on the social side. But we never talk about, hey, you work here, so can you open this door for me? While men do it, they can meet you and in 5 minutes they've put together what opportunities are going to come as a result of our 5 minutes of interaction. So women, we've got to do wealth support groups more.
I think I'll pick something you say there, ditch the poverty support.
Ditch the poverty support group. I mean, our problems, I'm a victim is just not going to help us. Yeah.
We'll see. Our third question is from a gentleman, Melvin. Thank you for joining us on this conversation. He's asking, in terms of rate of return, how do I tell if I'm using the right vehicle for my short-term investment needs?
Okay, I think first to understand that short-term investment needs are because you need safety. So I want to ask Marvin, why are they short-term? Short-term is because you have a short-term need. In 3 months, I'll be paying school fees. In 6 months, it's an emergency fund, the money you keep aside, so if you lose your sources of income, you're not kicked out of your house immediately. So Marvin, why are they short-term? Please do not expect extremely high rates of return from short-term investments, but you can still be wise with them. So apart from savings account, look for places that will actually give you more interest. I think fixed deposits accounts, I think money markets accounts that many financial institutions offer, even treasury bills will offer you a higher rate of return for your short-term investments. Then beyond that, the rest of the money you should now be looking at towards your medium-term or long-term investments, which will probably give higher rates of return, but with higher rates of return always come risk.
All right, thank you, Waceke. I think the investment options you've mentioned, Melvin, you can reach out to us at NCBA. We'll give you the options that can help you get a rate of return that is favorable. Yeah. So we have Lillian, and Lillian wants to invest, but she has so many debts from different lenders. Lillian, thank you for joining us. How can we advise Lillian?
First, like we do debt repayment at Centonomy, and first of all, list all your debts, because a lot of people we find actually don't know who they are paying, why they are paying, how much they're paying. They just pay. So list what you're paying weekly or monthly, and now start prioritizing one debt at a time. Just get rid of one debt at a time. Sometimes when we have extra money, we're trying to divide it amongst all our debts. Well, that's very inefficient and it takes a long time and you keep getting back in the same circle. So Lillian, clear one debt at a time. So make your month, don't default, yeah? Continue making your obligatory repayments and then take one debt at a time and finish it off. Then when that money frees up, roll it over to the second debt, pay that off. And as more money is coming into your life, the mistake people make with debt is they now feel I have space to take more debt, yeah? Now start putting that into investments and savings so that the money is just not sitting there when your mind will go back. So as money frees up, put it into something else. That's how you start getting rid of all these debts. Pay off one debt at a time. Yeah.
So the wheels of your mind have to keep on turning as the circumstances change.
That have to. Money, think about it like velocity of money. Money has to keep moving. So even for money to keep moving, your mind has to be turning as to where. That's why even though you've not been saving is so important, because once you start saving, then your mind's turning, okay, now I have 30,000 sitting in the savings account. What do I start doing with it? Yeah. So as money is freed up, start your mind moving and plug into the systems, the programs, the conversations that will enable your mind to open up. The most important part of this journey is opening up your mind.
Well put, Waceke. We have Kimberly. Kimberly is introducing a very interesting perspective to this conversation. Thank you for joining us, Kimberly. She's asking, what strengths does a millennial and a Gen Z woman have when it comes to investing as opposed to the older generation woman?
You know what I was saying about multiple sources of income? That is what I've seen with Gen Zs and millennials. They don't have a one-track mind. I don't think they're where they're being brought up, they're being taught about life employment. Like some of us, it was really preached to go have a long career, long service career. They look at things in terms of more project based. So if I'm here, it is for a particular season, it is for a particular project, but that can run out. So the advantage they have is that they are able to get clued on to various ways of making money. Someone may have a job, but at night they're doing content creation, or they're writing a book, or this is the stuff they do on weekends. And because they expose themselves to a lot more than other generations did because of the rise of online, and the rise of, even just in Kenya, the things that are available now that was simply not there 10 years ago, it's miles apart. They are able to create money very quickly. What is their disadvantage? Because I must also talk about this. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot more ways to spend money on. And because the ability to make money can be there faster, however, wealth, there are some principles of wealth that never go away. Instant gratification doesn't work for wealth creation. That discipline of sometimes you do need to wait, you do need to sit. The right investment or the right opportunity may actually take time. You could even be in a job that is so good, but millennials sometimes get a bit too impatient. They move very quickly, whilst if they had just waited 6 months, they would have leaped to a different level. So sometimes they get distracted by, I'm moving from a job because of 10,000, 20,000 shillings. When you look at the real opportunity of where you are, it was actually much bigger than where you moved to. So the advantage is lots of things to make this extra money. Disadvantage is they must be beware of distraction.
Great. So with the luxury of time that comes with their age, it's important to get the right financial advice.
Absolutely, and to start now, because even that 300 bob I talked about earlier, in just 10 years, that same money can be over 1.5 million shillings. And I'm only talking about the 300 bob, But if you didn't start 10 years ago, then you don't have that 1.5 million. And imagine along the way, if you moved it from 300 to 5,000 to 1,000, you could be talking about 10 million shillings without much struggle. So they do have the luxury of time. There is the concept of time value of money. So it works. The more time you have, the more your money can what we call compound. Yeah. So, but at the same time, you will make the money. You'll make that 1,000 bob today. But today, I just have to enter a mall or a shopping center, and I will see 60 different ways of spending that same 1,000 bob. So that's what's in front of them. Yeah.
So quite an opportunity time, but also a point to be cautious. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. We have Ivy. Thank you, Ivy, for joining us. Ivy has asked a question about housewives. A lot of them don't have access to information about investing. So how can they ensure that they have access to this information?
By going out and looking for the information, by going out and talking to the financial advisors, by going for programs like Centonomy that teach them how money, not just about the financial information, how money works, and then how they can apply it to their own journey. By even if they are not the ones earning the money, sitting down with their husbands or partners and saying, let us talk about our financial futures. What role can I play? You may not be the one at work every day, but you could be the one who's actually spending time looking for investment opportunities. That's also the role that you should play. And I want to tell stay-at-home moms to never devalue their contribution simply because they're not the ones who walk in with the salary. They have a big contribution. As I said, that unpaid domestic work counts for something, but there's a lot that they can do. And to also start looking, even while they're at home, what can they start? Can they start a small business? It doesn't stop them from earning income, yeah? But it's really go out and look, go have the conversations, and don't feel intimidated. A lot of stay-at-home moms feel, because I don't have the title, when I go to places where other people are saying marketing director, head of products, head of this, I don't have the title. Don't be intimidated by going and having conversations, because you still have skills, you still have gifts, you're a negotiator, you're so many things. I've worked with stay-at-home moms where we just repackaged what they thought about themselves, and 2 months later they had a job. Because I was like, that skill you're using to arrange those children, what is it called? Negotiation. Use that. It's called what? Communication. Write that down as a skill. Organization. Write that down. Analytical. Write that down. Resource aware. Write that down. They went and got a job. So just look at yourself very differently. Yeah.
I think I'll touch on something you mentioned in one of your talks. Take a weekend to find out, how does selling land or buying land work?
Yes.
Take time to spend a few moments with an investor.
Yes.
Find out what makes them do what they do and how does it work.
You know why I like vision and like goals? Because they change how I act today. So if I decide I'm going to buy a house, even though I have zero money in my bank account, I will go look at property. I will go see that dream house, because it will start changing how I think. Then my mind starts putting things together. If I do A plus B plus C, one day I'm somewhere at a wedding, I'm sitting together with someone, they say something, and I'm like, okay, tell me more about that. You just start absorbing things, and before you know it, you have, maybe it's not the dream house, but you have a starting. You're like, I'm going to start doing this investment. And because you opened yourself up to the possibility and removed yourself from the shackle of defining yourself through your circumstances, you were able to actually leap forward than you thought. So never define yourself by circumstances. What do you want? Not what does your bank account tell you should want. What do you want? Then start going out. Go see that property. Go visit that kind of business. Yeah, if it means going to another country to see how it's done, go. Save, go. Yeah.
Do it anyway.
Do it. Do it.
Do it afraid. Yes.
But do it.
Yes. Thank you, Waceke. Then we have Christine. Thank you for joining us, Christine. She's asking, at what point does one quit a job when they have a side hustle?
Maybe I just talk about it. I don't think there's a formula, Christine, but I can just talk about it from my experience. That was me. My first business was in stockbroking, and whilst I was employed, I started a side business to help people buy and sell shares on the stock market. Yes, it was a side hustle. When did I know to quit? When it became very obvious. So I have tested the concept. I have what we call proof of concept. I have clients. They are responding to my service. So I knew it is now my time that will make it go to the next level. So for me, it was a calculation of, I've tested the concept. Do I advise people to quit their jobs based on an idea? No. test that idea. Do you have 1, 2, 3 customers? Have you sort of understood what it will take to get that business going? For me, it was just, I did that. I understood what I needed to put together. I understood the kind of effort it will take. Yeah, both good and bad. It's not about just doing the things you love in a business. Yeah. And then I also knew I have a few clients, and I think honestly, to kick off, it just needs more of my time. Now I need to make it a full-time job. It would be unfair on my employer if I pretended my mind, and I could tell my mind has left my job, yeah, for this, and then I quit. So test your concept. Test your concept, yeah.
Well put, Waceke. Thank you for answering our questions. As a closing remark, what would you tell our women about money and investing?
I think it's just going back to what the definition I used of wealth. It's knowing what you want. There's no wealth that happens without knowing what you want. Even if you're given 1 million shillings today or 10 million shillings today, if you truly don't know what you want, you're actually going to spend that money pleasing other people. Then you're going to ask yourself, why am I still so sad and I had money? Yeah. So knowing what you want, which aligns with your values and purpose, yeah, then go out and there you have everything that you need to make money that tool. So start by assessing where you are today, then look at yourself critically and say, this is what I need to learn. Go out and seek that information. Then simply understanding that this is not just a journey of comfort all the way it is packaged on Instagram, yeah? It is a journey that will have ups and downs, and the ability to deal with ups and downs is actually where financial freedom is found. It is understanding that sometimes I have 1 million shillings in my bank account, sometimes I have 0. But still, I am still that person who can go out and conquer the world, even with the ups and downs, and the ability to make choices. Sometimes I can buy an expensive coffee. Sometimes I'm like, please, we're never going out for anything for a while. Sometimes I can live here. Sometimes I can do this. Some years I'll go on holiday. Some years I won't go on holiday. Don't make your lifestyle the definition of your identity at all costs. There are things you will enjoy here and there. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but you can make choices around that. So know what you want, confidence to go out and get it, and freedom to know that you can deal with the ups and downs. You have, women, you have what it takes. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Waceke.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure to host you on Money Mastery.
Yes, it's been a pleasure to be here and to have a conversation with you.
Thank you indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for season 4. We call it a wrap. Would like to say thank you for engaging with us throughout the entire season. We really enjoyed and appreciated your questions and your comments throughout each episode. But we don't leave it here. We say, in case you need to know more about our products, feel free to visit our website at ke.ncbagroup.com. You can call us on our numbers on the screen right now. And even better yet, follow, share, and subscribe to our social media handles also on our screens right now. I've been your host, Evelyn Musyoka. It's been an absolute honor. And from us at NCBA, we say thank you and happy holidays.